Okay, CEOs and other C-suiters, don't you think it's time to roll up your sleeves and see what's really going on at your communities? The annual walkthrough meet and greet can bolster morale for a day or two, but it doesn't really tell you what's going on inside the building. Until you have a true understanding of what is working and what's not, from the dining room to the care plans to the sales staff, it is just going to be that much more difficult to implement those changes that you think are needed to reach optimal occupancy and cash flow. And please, forget about hotels. Stay in the guest apartment or a stage unit. Have dinner with the residents and breakfast, and you will really understand what they think and want, and you will save in expenses as well. While on a consulting assignment 25 years ago, back when we used to do those sorts of things, I lived in the CCRC for 2.5 days. Every meal in the dining room with residents. We were hired by Bondholders Council, and they wanted to know what was going on and why the CCRC, which had defaulted on its bonds, was going nowhere fast. And post-default, they had hired one of the most respected CCRC managers in the country to operate and fill up the community, and even they couldn't move the needle. Smartest thing they ever did when they put in the engagement letter that we had to live in the community as part of our due diligence. Without staying there, I never would have figured out what one of the big problems was. After dinner one night, I decided to take a little walk around the neighborhood. It had been a long day, and I wanted some fresh air and a little exercise. I didn't have to go more than 2 blocks to figure out what the problem was. We were on the edge of the worst part of town, drug country, and the dealers came out at night. The CCRC was on the campus of a downtown church, and the church was a sponsor of it, hoping to attract parishioners, current and former, back to their religious roots from the suburbs. The problem was they didn't want to move into this neighborhood, which had deteriorated significantly over the years. The point in telling the story is that stopping in during the day for a quick meet and greet and tour would have told us nothing about why the community couldn't fill up. You just have to do more, especially if the community is struggling. And more is digging deeper into what is preventing occupancy from growing. It may not be as simple as the neighborhood, but hopefully you will experience your own aha moment. When you do, you will be amazed what can happen. A friend of mine recently toured a building he was buying as part of his due diligence. He is a roll-up-your-sleeves kind of a guy. All it took him was 2 hours of sitting down with the staff, primarily sales and marketing, to figure out why this best building in the market was just not cutting it from a census perspective, not to mention the high costs that were cutting into cash flow. The days of sitting around in HQ and reviewing reports on census, leads, and departmental costs are over. This is a dynamic, competitive business that needs a lot of attention to detail. The details are not that complicated, but you have to know them and how they are impacting the operations at your communities. It looks like 2019 will be a repeat of 2018, and 2020 may not be much better. CEOs, it's time to roll up your sleeves and find out what is really happening and how to fix it.